All right. So, hi, Dominic. I'm Kiki from Smells Like Teen Angst. First off, I have to tell you, I am enamored with this show. I cannot wait for a season two. It has been a very long time since I've watched a series like binged front to back, phone down, invested it into every character, especially characters going through something that, like, personally, I could never do. So, tell me a
Well,
little bit
first off,
about.
I'm happy that you watched it and enjoyed it with the phone down because that is a huge thing today. So I'm glad that is an accomplishment.
So tell me a little bit about your character on the show Boots and what it was like getting into this character.
Yeah, well, Nash is a character who joins the Marines with sort of his own agenda at hand, where he's like, you know what? I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna keep my head down, I'm gonna do my thing, and I'm gonna graduate, and I'm gonna get credits under my belt without interacting with anybody. And that's impossible with the Marines. Like you're going through boot camp, they're going to challenge you, they're going to push you, you're going to cross paths with other people, and that is exactly what happened to Nash. So it was a really fun character to play. He was very quiet, which is the opposite of me. Like everybody knows me in the friend group. I'm always making jokes, having fun, and I'm very competitive in my real life. And Nash is sort of the opposite, where he's like not really trying to partake in the competition that some of these recruits sort of bring on. So it was a very unique character to play where, he's the opposite of me, but I had a lot of fun. It was great.
Yeah, your character Nash specifically, like his identity and friendship, like in this environment really did not like resonate, like it was an issue for him. So
Right.
what was it? I know you talk about how like you're an outgoing person and everything like that, but how was it like living in a character that is silent but also is pushed to the very edge at the end?
Right. Yeah, it's very interesting that he's very thoughtful and introspective and very pensive. Like clearly he's always journaling. And personally, like I know what he read out, but I think that Nash coming from a political background and having these aspirations of being president, and he goes to Howard, which for those who would watch, it's an all-black college. So I think that he sort of has smarts and wit about him. And yeah, so that character in an environment where they're trying to sort of have you drink the Kool-Aid, he's like, no, I'm a little smarter than that. I'm not buying into this whole kill, 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 oobra thing. So it was an interesting process seeing him evolve throughout the seasons because of the people that he's interacting with, like Cameron Cope and McKinnon, who's constantly pushing at him. Um, I think he has a beautiful arc, and it was a lot of fun to be able to just dive really deep into the different relationships that he had and allowing them to change him throughout the season.
I absolutely agree with you. I also feel like coming from like I related a lot to Nash coming from that aspect that like I come from a family where probably doing something like going to the military would just ruffle a lot of feathers, having parents in finance and like a
Exactly.
grandmother who's a doctor, like to her, that is so beneath the world. Like
Right.
the way they look at me already for being a journalist, they're like, get a real job, girl. So
Hmm.
it's just like seeing a character kind of jump into that world and fight it, but not only turn around and make a name for himself. And it was like
Yeah.
absolutely like a beautiful journey to see on screen. Um, what what I want to really get from you is like when it comes to the character of Nash, of course he's not talking about what he's kind of keeping away from his parents.
Right.
Would you ever in that aspect like jump into that world, jump into anything and really just not tell your parents about it,
I have
benefits,
a
forgiveness,
very
mission?
I have a very unique story for you that is my real life. But when I went to college, my parents couldn't really afford like all of the tuition. And I originally went to college thinking, oh, I'm gonna run track and field. It didn't happen. And I seen these guys on the track running in an army uniform, and I was like, what is that? So I'm talking to some of the guys and they're like, "Oh, if you join the program, you can get a scholarship." So I joined the Army program in college without telling my family. And so it was very interesting that Nash had a very similar trajectory. And I actually had to make a decision on, do I accept the scholarship or do I leave school and pursue what I've always wanted to do since I was a child, which is act. So I turned down joining the army and ended up, leaving school to be an actor. And my dad was pissed. So I think a lot of the different things that parallel with Nash was not a coincidence. I feel like it was meant for me to play this role.
Yeah, I mean, that's kismet, like for your
Right.
story to align that closely.
Yeah.
On top of that, I also feel like this show had a lot of heart, but also had a lot of comedy take place.
hmm
Um, Tell me what that was like on set for you guys. Like, how do you keep a serious face when these people are screaming in your face, or when you're out in the mud, just like mucking around? I'm sure that
Oh,
those
man.
scenes were really hard to film.
We didn't stay serious. Like this whole cast is a cast of goofballs and misfits left and right. Like everybody are constantly making jokes, roasting each other. It was like roasting was our love language on set. And that included the background guys too, because they were there with us every single day. They were a huge part of the environment, but we just had so much fun. So I think there was just something special about like when they said action, everybody locking in and doing it. It was also like we didn't want to be in that New Orleans heat longer than we had to. So when it was time to film, we locked in and we knocked the scenes out. But man, I'm a goofball and a roaster. So knowing how quiet Nash was, he didn't really get to partake in some of the comedy in the show. I made sure to partake when we yelled cut 100%.
Hey, whatever you have to do to make it through the day.
Yeah.
Was there any like real life military experiences that you will take with you other than just like working out and training? Like I feel like you guys were really out there in boot camp.
Right. Well, my little brother is a Marine, and my grandfather and my great grandfather. So going into the job already, I sort of already had an understanding of a lot of the sacrifices that they made going in. And I think diving into a role like this, it just allowed me to just go full all the way in from doing the weapons training, doing a lot of the obstacle course stuff. I just felt like you got to go all the way knowing that like my little brother is also a representation of USMC, the United States Marine Corps, so I'm gonna take all of that with me into my real life and who knows, maybe I'll do an action role next and I'll use something I learned.
I mean, hopefully you guys were
Yeah.
trained hard. So, I'm sure maybe with hopes of a season two that you got to keep up that schedule.
Yeah, you never know.
No,
If
you
if
don't
a
know.
season two comes, the boys might have to get back in shape.
No, you can't say you already let it slip. Seems so hard. So, before we wrap up here, I just want you to possibly give me a short pitch of why people should watch Boots.
Boots is unique. It is fun. It is challenging. I think viewers are going to have a good time. I think it's something that I've never seen on TV before, but at the same time, it has remnants of all the different shows that I grew up loving, like Friday Night Lights and all these different shows about camaraderie. Remember the Titans? There's just so much of that within this show that I truly think that there's something for every audience. It's a show about love at the end of the day. These guys are coming together and developing a brotherhood, and it's about finding yourself, and truly is a coming of age story. And I think that right now we need love more than anything. And so I think having a show like this to challenge some of the negativities in the world is not such a bad thing. I think people can watch it, reflect, and enjoy it.